Hello, hello. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Soul's Dream Q&A. We're going to be talking about the Soul's Dream course. We have a lot of really good questions that came in over the past 2 weeks. We're going to talk about the benefits of water and how it can really change how we experience this reality once we understand exactly what water really is. Then we're going to talk about how music can influence us energetically. So we're going to use music not just to listen to, but to program ourselves. And then we're going to get into the matrix and the unified field. And then I'm going to finish it off by showing you guys something that is absolutely amazing. I took this with my P900 camera, and I'm very excited to show you guys. So I'll show you guys at the end when we get closer to the after the questions and answers. Let me just move over here. I know, I am bright. It's all these lights in here. Now we're good. Don't worry about it. Hello, Carrie. Hello, Alex, Borga, and Chantel. What's going on, guys? How you guys doing? All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to change it up a little bit. Instead of getting right into the meditation, we're going to get into the Q&A, and then we'll get into the meditation towards the end. So we'll keep it live and rolling pretty quickly here. So we're going to get right into the first question. Jamie, this came in last week from, I believe, Mark. I got you. Yep, you're good. Yes, so I spoke about water as the medium of life in lesson 2 in the Soul Stream course. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to screen share with you guys that part of the course. So what we're looking at here is when we are a fetus, we are 100% water. And then as we get older, we become less and less water. And by the age, our 70s and 80s, we're at 50% water. So think about that. Fetus is 100%, babies are 80%, adulthood is between 60 and 70, and in our elder years, we're between 50 to 60% water. And you can see in the elasticity of our skin the importance of water, right? So babies, they have this amazing skin. It's so beautiful. You touch it and it just like bounces right back, right? But as you get older, our skin starts to thin out and wrinkle, because we have less water in our system. So this is why it's extremely important to stay hydrated every single day, to drink as much water as you possibly can. Because what you're doing is you're replenishing yourself with water. And once you understand exactly what water is, it's not just a molecule of H2O. In the course, I show you how magnificent this substance is. It's incredible. So we also talked about how water can imprint, right? So we looked at how researchers were taking water, and when a person touched the water would instantaneously imprint the vibrational frequencies of the person that was touching that water. So think of the significance of that. When you touch water, it instantly matches your vibrational frequency. So what we're looking at here, you have researcher 1, researcher 2, researcher 3. These are all individuals who touched the water and the water imprinted. But then they took flowers and put it in water, and the water would then imprint in the shape of the flower that it was in the water. Water holds memory. And we've seen this with Dr. Emoto with the rice experiment and the emotions, and how emotions are tied into the water. And it's very quickly. So you can see when you play music of Mozart, you can see down here this Mozart symphony, this beautiful crystalline structure. And then you have imagine and then love. I mean, look at the complexity of this crystal of love. And all that is water frozen. So what Emoto did was he put his intentions into the glass. So he held the glass, put his intentions into it, or he just wrote the words love on the glass, froze it, took it out, put it under a microscope, and this is what formed, showing the sacred geometrical structures of our vibrational frequencies. And water is imprinting that. So whatever vibration we're at, guess what? The water is going to imprint that. So when we start holding ourselves and viewing ourselves in a loving, compassionate way, what happens to the water that's within us? Because remember, we're made up of water, right? At a baby, we're 100% water pretty much. And as we get older, we descend down in our water. But the thing is, we are still made up of water. So when we hold these high vibrational frequencies, these high loving, compassion words, those structure, right, those crystalline structures form within our systems. So today we drink water, right? We'll get a glass of water, like, we're thirsty. You just drink water, nothing, just go with it. But what if, just for a moment, you grab the water and you give it a blessing? Thank you. Thank you is a blessing, right? It's a vibrational frequency. It's a feeling. Thank you is a feeling. So if we say thank you, we hold it in our hands. Once we touch the water, right, we're moving into this. The researchers show that once you touch the water, it imprints into the memory of you. So if you're holding a high resonance, guess what's going to happen? You're going to drink that, and it's going to flush out all the negativity that's in your body. Now, if you're at a negative emotion, say hate or dislike, if you look at the Fujiwara Dam here before prayer, and I will kill you, there's no geometrical shape there. There's nothing. It's just blah, right? But once you put your intention into the water, it takes on these beautiful shapes. I mean, look at thank you, look at peace. I mean, look at the prayer after the Fujiwara Dam, right? I mean, you can see the complexity of the water changes just by us touching it. But then once we put our intentions into the water, what happens is it changes. The molecular structure of the water changes. Water is, it's an amazing enigma. I mean, we still don't really understand the complexity of what water it is and how it's in our environment and how we're integrated with it and in it. I mean, it's so amazing. So next time you pick up a glass of water, hold it in your hand just for a second and be conscious, right? That's what we're trying to do now. Move into a conscious living. Grab that water, say I love you, say thank you, give it a blessing, and then drink it. Even with your food, right? Well, if you look at your food contains water. So when you cook food, what happens? It steams, right? That's water vapors leaving the food. So when you're blessing your food, you're actually changing the molecular structure of the water crystals in the food. So it brings a whole new meaning. And I said this in lesson 2. It brings a whole new meaning to grace, right? Grace isn't just you're just praying to something or someone or somewhere. You're actually changing the molecular structure of the water, and this is scientifically documented. This isn't some woo-woo stuff. This is happening by you holding a high resonance, and that vibrational frequency that is you is then being encased in the water that's in your food, in your drinks, and especially in your water. So it's so important to drink water as much as possible every day because your skin will start to glow. Your skin loves the water. Your wrinkles will start to go away. So girls, my wife, Jamie here, she uses, hello, Jamie. She puts moisturizer on her face, right? Because the moisturizer makes her skin soft, just like a baby. A baby doesn't need moisturizer. Why? Because it's filled with so much hydration, so much water already. So what the moisturizer is doing is it's adding hydration to your skin. But when you drink water and you change the molecular structure by using your emotions, by blessing it, that is a moisturizer that's working from internal to the outside. And you're going to find out that moving forward, everything comes from inside of you. Everything. What we see on the outside world, it's only a reflection of what is inside of us. So that was a fantastic question, Mark. Thank you very much. That is a wonderful question. So, when you look at music, music is a vibration and it's a frequency. And how we use music today is in a hypnotic form, right? So, it's a beat, 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 beat. And those beats put you into a nice alpha state or even a gamma if you go crazy metal. But what it's doing is it's actually changing the vibrational frequency that you're in. And so if you ever have those goosebumps where you hear a song and it's like everything stands up, it's because you at that instant are a vibrational match to that frequency. So let me go back to my screen share here and pull up my words here. All right, so what we use mostly with music, right? One of the most important things with music for us to understand it is we use words. Words are so important, especially the words that you're talking about yourself. The words that you talk about yourself are the most important words you will ever speak. But let's get back to words here. So we use words by spelling, right? So spelling, when you look at spelling and break it apart, you have spell and then ing. Spell ing is the action of spells. It's the action of magic spells. Our words create emotions, create feelings, create realities. I can tell you something that might not be real, but you might say, oh, that sounds plausible. And then you can have an emotional experience about that whole entire reality of what I'm saying, but it might not be true at all. And we see this all the time in politics, right? Politics, they keep on saying, oh, look over here, look over here, look over here. This is what I'm going to do, this is what I'm going to do. Everybody buys into that reality based on the words, right? Because they're producing these magical spells. They're creating this image, this portray, this reality that people want to experience, but yet there's nothing there. It's just words, because words have power. Words have the ability to change the molecular structure of your vibration and your emotions, right? They grab your emotions then go in motion and create your reality. So we manifest our worlds through our thoughts. Think about that. We manifest our worlds through our thoughts. It's what we're thinking that is generating our reality. Doesn't matter if it's right or wrong or good or bad. What we're thinking, we are internally processing that emotion. We're internally processing those words and expressing those out, right? So our thoughts are manifesting our worlds, and we project our thoughts with our words. So we have a thought, and what do? We then form a sentence with spelling, right? We form a sentence with these words, and then we broadcast them out into our environment. And then those words, those vibrational frequencies, leave my vocal cords, sound travels, hits somebody's ear. These little hairs vibrate, sending electrical impulses in somebody's brain, and then they have the experience inside of them of the words that we're speaking. So can you see how magical spelling and words can be? So when I say, I love you to somebody, and I'm genuinely saying that, they feel that. And then if I say, you know what, I don't like you at all, that person's going to have an emotional experience based on their experience of not being liked in their past. And they're going to have an emotional experience based on being loved in their past, right? But if you were to say that to a baby, the baby's not going to know the words. The baby's going to know the vibrational frequency that you're emitting. So when you're emitting love, there's actually an energy that's moving from you, from the emotion that's being projected out without the words. But the words have extreme powers. So when we talk about ourselves, when you're looking in the mirror, what are you saying to yourself? Oh, I'm not good enough, or I have to lose weight, or I have to get to the gym more. It's never, I am good enough. I am amazing just the way that I am. Because if you start saying you are amazing just the way that you are, you're going to see yourself transform so effortlessly and easily. It just comes easy because you no longer have that negativity pushing you all the time. You have negativity pushing you all the time. All you want to do is run from it, right? So, I'll go to the gym tomorrow because there's a strain there, right? There's a strain that comes up. But if you say, you know what? I look good today. And tomorrow, I look good today. And the next day, I look good today. This motivation is going to spark up inside of you and say, I'm going to the gym today because I feel so good. Not, oh, I feel so bad because I didn't go to the gym yesterday and I didn't go today. The motivation is going to come when you start to feel it inside of you. It's not something you have to create. It's something that you become once you start holding a high vibrational frequency. And you can do this by using words. So words are our wands, right? Wands, Harry Potter, to cast our spells. And we cast our spells with our vocal cords, and we project it into our reality. So our words are our wands to cast the spells of our thoughts. So what are you in control of, right? The only thing you're in control of is the words that you use and the thoughts that you think. Now you may say, well, it said that we have 80,000 thoughts a day. How am I in control of those? You are in control of the thoughts that you are attaching to. When you attach to a thought, then you attach an emotion to that thought and it becomes your reality, right? 80,000 thoughts are passing through you every day. Once you say, whoop, wait a second, what is that? Boom, you pull it into you, you have the emotional expression, and then all of a sudden it becomes your reality. Now I learned this, I told this story a while ago, I might have told it in the course, but I learned this when I had a panic attack on stage at work. I was thinking before I got on stage, I'm like, oh, what happens if I mess up? And I've done public speaking plenty of times, never had any issues, but I had this thought, what if I messed up on stage? The thought, because I stopped it, right? Usually before it would just run through and it would just, whatever, that's stupid. That never happened to me before, but I said, oh, what if? And I started thinking about that. Well, guess what happened when I got on stage? That thought became an emotion and it became my reality. And my whole physiology froze up. I was like, ugh. I froze, my brain froze, everything froze because I grabbed onto a thought and I attached an emotion to it, and then that became my reality. So you have the power. You have the power to watch your thoughts and watch what you're attaching your energy, your emotions to. So we talked about, I believe it was in lesson 4, we talked about the chakra system, and in lesson 1 as well. We talked about the chakra system and how there's 7 chakras. There's 3 top chakras, 3 lower chakras, and then you have the heart chakra in the center. The 3 upper chakras have to do with communication, have to do with intellect, right? And it's also, if you look at our chakras, they're actually the color of the visible light spectrum, right? So you have purple, blue, and then light blue, right? So when you look at the visible light spectrum and the vibrational frequencies of these colors, it goes from extremely high vibrations all the way down to red, infrared, where it's very low vibrations. Now, if you look at your emotions are a slower vibration than a thought. Remember, you have 80,000 thoughts a day, so these are like running through us really quick. But our emotions are very slow. And when we attach an emotion to a thought, it then becomes our reality. And it's not so easy to just get rid of that emotion and say, oh, that's not me. I'm not having that right now. No, you're having it. And you have chose to have it by attaching the emotion to that thought. So use your words wisely. Use your words about yourself in the highest form that you can think. Doesn't matter if it's true right now. Fake it till you make it. And what I mean by that is your higher self, your subconscious mind, once you start tapping into your subconscious, using words, your subconscious says, oh, wait a second, that's what you want, and I'm going to bring it to you. So words are so important. So back to music. When you're looking at music, it's a hypnotic vibration, right? It's a beat, boom, 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 boom. It puts you into a hypnotic phrase or a hypnotic experience, just like our ancient cultures did back in the day when they did the drumming, right? If you did the drumming and you were doing the dancing, you move into this like altered state of consciousness, right? Well, it's the same thing with the music that we have today. It actually shifts us into an altered consciousness, and then there's words that are used to program us into perceiving the reality a certain way, right? That's why we adapt and attach to these vibrational frequencies within these songs. So what I've been doing lately with a song, it's from a group called the Dirty Heads, and it's called Vacation. And every day, life is like a vacation, right? So if you look at it like that, when you wake up, you love your occupation because life is a vacation, and vice versa. And the words are just so important to like sing them out and yell them out. And only listen to songs that uplift you. Why? Because when you're uplifted, everything around you is uplifted, because your reality is what you think and your reality is what you speak. So if you change your words, you change your thoughts, you change your reality. There's that saying, right? If you want to change the world, you must first change yourself. Think about that. You can't expect the world to change. Everybody's outside saying, oh, this person has to do that, or this government has to do that. No, that's the old way of looking at things. Everything starts with you. You changing you within you and using what you have. And that's your thoughts, your emotions, and your words. And project the highest vibrational frequency that you can possibly do in that moment. So thank you, Jennifer, for that. Let me hop over here, James. Pop you back in.
I'm in.
Yep, you're in. I'm ready. I know, right? Well, the thing is our third eye is actually opened all the time. Because when we go to sleep, we're actually opening up our third eye. That's how we're able to move into the dream realm, the dream state, right? Our third eye is actually a lens that sits in the pineal gland. It is the pineal gland, but there's actually a lens, just like our eyes have a lens. It has rods and cones, and it's looking up. So I think I wrote that. Let me pull that up. The screen share here. I like the screen sharing thing. This is awesome. All right, so here we go. So this is actually the pineal gland in the brain. And if you look to the left there, what does it look like? The eye of Ra, right? The eye of Horus, the Christ consciousness. This is how we are all connected to the higher realms, because we have this third eye. And when we go to sleep at night, what happens is we open up this third eye and we see into these higher realms, these higher dimensions. And that's why we have these amazing dreams of flying or being in different realities altogether, because we actually are shifting into a completely different reality and we're learning lessons, right? And then when you go in, yes, sure. Ooh, I can't hear. That's interesting. Oh yeah, there's a lot of them in there. All right, give me a minute. Let me see what's going on here. Yeah. Where is my... I probably should stop sharing. Okay. I apologize, guys. Give me 1 second here. Check. Hello?
Not sure. Hear you fine.
What's that?
Somebody else said, not sure. They hear you fine.
Yeah, I think I hear it pretty good too.
Oh, maybe they were saying they couldn't hear me.
Oh, you guys, forget about it. Nice. That's right.
I can't hear Jamie.
Oh, okay.
I can't hear Jamie.
Got you. All right. So what I will do then, I apologize for that, guys, is I will take over the questions, because you're right, they won't be able to hear you on Facebook. We have a very extravagant system going on here to be streaming. We're streaming to Facebook right now, YouTube, and we are also streaming to on Zoom. So, all right. Let's get back to where we were. All right, so we were talking about the pineal gland and how this sits inside of our head, right? So the question was, how do we open it up? We open it up every single night. Every night we go to sleep, we open it up. And what you want to do, what you're talking about, is actually opening it up consciously, where you're able to see into the higher dimensions, right? So you're able to walk around and then boop, pop in and see into the higher dimensions. Well, that takes a lot of practice. And the best way to do that is through meditation, because when you're meditating, you're actually consciously aware. Your conscious mind is aware and your subconscious mind is aware. Your subconscious is your higher self. It's what activates the third eye to actually open up. When your third eye opens up, you're actually releasing that molecule DMT to kind of flash you open into that. But you can do that same exact process. You can release the same exact chemicals through meditation. And they have transcendental meditations when you go basically into the delta, where your conscious mind is really asleep, but you're still fully aware as you're moving into the other states of the realities that are around us. But the best way to do that would be drink a lot of water. I'm going to say that. Definitely drink a lot of water and meditate. When you meditate, you start to see things differently. You start to see when the thoughts come in, you're able to like step back from a third person point of view and say, wait a second, I'm not attaching to that one. And what that is that's your higher consciousness, your higher self saying, wait a second, you don't want to experience that. And you're open. The channel within you is open. It's connected, and you're able to see. You're not going based off of instinct, right? So our instincts come in through our years of being on the planet and learning all these conditions and these circumstances that we take on as beliefs, as who we think we are. But who we truly are is just awareness, right? Think about this. Who you are is just awareness. Now, we can debate anything. We can debate, why we're here, who we are, what we are. That's all debatable. But what we cannot debate is that we're aware. And when you go to sleep at night, you're aware in your dreams. And when you leave this reality and you transition into, heaven or wherever you're going to go, you're going to be aware. When you go into another dimension, you're going to be aware. What changes are the circumstances and the conditions of the vibrational frequencies that are around us. But what doesn't change is the awareness of who and what you are. That is the eternal being. That is the I in the I am, right? So I is the source. It is the creation of the awareness of the experience. Am is the action. So this is why it's so important to, when you're saying I am, what are you putting behind that, right? If you're not feeling well, you feel like something coming in your throat, like, oh, I'm not feeling good. I'm not feeling good. I'm not feeling good. You tell somebody else and you're like, oh, you're not feeling good. I'm not feeling good. You're manifesting that reality. So when you feel something in your throat, say, I am healed. I am so grateful for this opportunity to show my body that I am healed. Now, it's completely different from what we're taught, because what we're taught is to go into the emotional experience of the condition of whatever's happening. Like, oh, this is me, and I get sicker and sicker and sicker because I keep on saying, I am sick, I am sick, I am sick. But if you don't accept that as your reality and say, I am healed, what's going to happen is this little thing inside of our head called pineal gland is going to manifest that reality for you, because that's what it does. It's when you look at it, right, it actually looks like a pine cone, right? And if you look at a pine cone is a magnetic field. When you look at magnetic fields, right, from a top to bottom, it looks identical to a pine cone. And I shared this in lesson, I believe it was lesson 3, maybe lesson 4. It was lesson 4. I shared the magnetic fields and nature and the Fibonacci sequence and how they're all correlated and tied together. When you look at the planets and how they dance throughout the whole entire year, they create a magnetic field. It looks identical to any magnetic field that we have on Earth. You take two magnets, you put them together, you use a Faraday cell, you're going to see the same exact pattern that's happening in the heavens. That's happening in our third eye. That's why it's called the pineal gland. So it looks like a pine cone. Because it looks like a pine cone is because the magnetic vortexes that are running through it constantly. This is how it's called the third eye pine cone. And the thing is it's always open. Honestly, it's always open. You just have to become conscious and aware of it. And how you do that is through your words and your emotions. So when next time say, I am, and use that. I am grateful that I can see with my third eye. I am so excited that when I go to sleep tonight, I'm going to be able to have this amazing dream. Start living consciously. Start stating what you want to experience. Right? People are so conditioned to say what they don't want. Start talking about what you do want. And that's what's going to happen in your life. And that's been my whole entire life. Like, I always focused on what I wanted, and I got it a lot because I always gave compassion and love, and I just love being around people, and I love being in this experience, and I want to always focus on the highest possible outcome in any situation, in any moment in time. So that will be that. So, babe, I can't pull you in here for the next one, right? So we have Jim. I completed your course in 3 weeks. Wow, Jim. That's pretty quick because the course, it's a lot of information. So if you did it in 3 weeks, I would highly suggest going back and doing it again. But I absolutely love the information. My question is, will you be doing a part 2 of the Soul Stream course? Well, no, I won't be. The Soul Stream course is my gift to humanity. It's my 25 years of research that I have dove in. I mean, I dove in every single day. I never not researched in any day. I was always looking and looking and looking. And this is what I've discovered, and this is what my gift to humanity. My next course is going to be called Know Thyself, and this is going to be interactive. This is where I want to work one-on-one with people, and really people who really want to move into a different reality, but be here. That's going to be my next course, and that's going to be Know Thyself. So the Soul's Dream is completed, and I'm so grateful and thankful that it's out there and people are enjoying it. It's amazing to see how many people are signing up every other day. It's incredible. And the thing is I'm not advertising, right? I come on here, I do these little things, but I'm not advertising, and this thing is growing like boom. People are sharing it and sharing it and sharing it. It's so amazing. So Jim, thank you for enjoying the course. And if you did it in 3 weeks, I would highly suggest you watch it over again because there is a lot of information in there. That's 25 years of information compiled into 7 hours. So I would highly suggest you do it again. And then we have Michael. All right, Michael, this is a pretty big one. I know we are just entering into the upward swing in consciousness upon entering the Bronze Age. So what Michael is referring to is in week 3, when I talked about time, I talked about the yugas and the ages. You have the Golden Age, the Silver Age, the Bronze Age, and the Iron Age. And what the ages are talking about as we move through the precession of the equinox, it actually shifts the collective consciousness into an experience as a collective experience. So as we move through ages, we become denser and denser in consciousness. So we're just leaving the Iron Age, which is the most dense of our transition through the great year, which is the 26,000 year precession of the equinox. It's the densest we have ever been in consciousness because we have completely forgotten who we are, where we come from, what everything is. We have no idea what's going on here. And that's by design, and it's for a reason. And it's because we just came out of the Iron Age. I mean, if you look what was going on in the Iron Age, if you look what was happening the last 2,000 years, it's been pretty bleak. And we're moving up now. We're transitioning. 2012 was the marker that we are now in the full upswing of the ascension process, meaning every day we are going to be more awake and more awake and more awake. So that's what Michael's talking about when he's talking about the Bronze Age and the Golden Age. So he says, let's see. I know we're just entering into the upswing in consciousness upon entering the Bronze Age. We still have 7,000 years remaining until we enter into the next Golden Age state of super consciousness. So do you think that just knowing or believing we are heading for the Golden Age can speed up our journey? Yes, 1,000%, Michael. Do you think that just knowing and believing we were heading into the Golden Age can speed up the process, propel us to a much higher state of super consciousness even before we enter into the Golden Age phase? Additionally, so before I get into the additionally, yes, because once the thing is the vibrational frequency is now here. Once people start waking up and start becoming a match to that vibrational frequency, it becomes a resonance, right? Resonance and entrainment. That's how we understand vibrations, right? Once we start resonating with the new age, the new vibrational frequency that's being projected into our reality, things are going to become so much easier for us. But a lot of us are still working on the old paradigm, the old structure, the old oligarchy that's holding us back, this money structure, this whole entire government. So we need this, we need this, we need this. But no, we need nothing. We need ourselves to really start tapping into ourselves. When we drink, to be conscious of what we're doing when we're drinking. It doesn't matter what you're drinking. If it's dirty water, you can bless it and the water will change. And that's been documented. I mean, we can change anything because we have this power that's within us that is so incredible. And once we awaken this power, it's lights out, because we can start tapping into all these different energies that are all around us to start projecting it into our reality and creating the reality that we want. So yes, Michael, every single day it's going to get better and better the more you focus on the ascension process, and it getting better and better. All right, so in addition, if you feel that you are a starseed, how many lives have you lived? Is there any way to determine approximately how many times we have returned in this universe or other universes? Well, Michael, like I said, we just came out of the densest part of our reality. So, no, I don't think honestly, it's not even relevant. What's relevant now is that you use what you have. And what you have now is your words, and you have your thoughts. So tapping into your words and your thoughts, that's really what it's all about, right? Tapping into your words and your thoughts, because that's the most important thing that you have. And taking time for yourself. And that's why I said meditation is so great, so important, right? Because when you take the time for yourself to meditate, guess what you're doing? You're experiencing your true nature, your true self. So many times we work to achieve, right? And then we never get to live. I have so many friends who are making buco bucks, but they have no life. They have all this money sitting in the bank, but they have no life because they're working, and they can't stop working, because once you start working, you start accumulating more stuff, and before you know it, you have all this stuff, and you got to keep on working to keep the stuff. But the stuff is it's a diversion, because the main stuff is right here. It's within you. And you have this power within you that is so magnificent and so powerful that once you start tapping into it, like you're saying, Mike, once you start understanding that every day is going to get better and better and better, guess what's going to happen? Every day is going to get better and better and better. All right, so Michael has another question. All right, Michael, just have the show here with these big questions. But I like them. It's good. Is this matrix, unified field that exists, consist of just the infinite? Or is it like a cosmic blanket where everything already exists here, there, everywhere in the finite and the infinite all at the same time, acting like a mirror that reflects the work we have done in visualizing, creating, manifesting our destinies? Additionally, wow, Michael. Additionally, do you think that the same is true for the universe, or might those other universes have an entirely different mechanism in play? All right, so Michael, you're talking about the infinite and finite, and that is in lesson 6. So in lesson 6, I talked about the infinite and finite, and that our reality that we're in now is the finite expression, but in the infinite, all possibilities exist. Okay, so when you look at the creator, whatever you want to call the creator, I'm not going to give it a name, but whatever you want to call the creator is all that is. So the creator creates a place of limitation, right? A place of conditions, a place of circumstances, and that's what we call the finite. But inside of the finite, we can experience each other, we can experience things. But when you're in the infinite, when you're all that is, you can't experience anything separate from yourself, because you are everything. There's no space. It's kind of like everything and a void at the same time. But in the finite, you can break apart particles and have experiences inside of time. So what we're doing is we're actually pulling from the infinite, and we're pulling it into the finite expression, this toroidal field that's around us. And then we're expressing that external onto this toroidal field around us. And that's why it's so important to understand that you are the creator of your reality. You have this ability to tap into the infinite and pull any thought. If you can think a thought, that means it's possible. All you need is the emotion to give that thought power. And when you give that emotion to that thought, that becomes your reality. So that's how we kind of tie in these chakra systems, right? You have your top 3 chakra systems, energy comes down, and then it comes up into your lower 3 chakra systems, and it meets at your heart. So your thoughts and your emotions meet at your heart, and then it broadcasts out. So what is it that you want? What are you focusing on? What are you attaching your thoughts and your emotions to? And what are you feeling and broadcasting out? That's how we use the infinite and finite. And when we look at, I was talking about the third eye, how it's a magnet. Heart math has shown that our hearts are the biggest giant resonating magnets in our bodies, and it can be measured several feet outside of our bodies. Think about that. We have this magnet in our heart. What does the magnet do? It attracts and it repels. So you can repel anything and you can attract anything by using here and here. It's so amazing once we start understanding what this whole entire reality is and how we can use it. It's so cool. So let's see. That was it on the questions, which was really cool. Thank you guys for all those awesome questions. So I have a couple of things that I wanted to share here before. You know what? Does anybody have anything in the inside of Facebook? So I don't know how I'm going to make them hear you here, babe. Yeah. So do you see anything on Restream?
No. Just Karen asked what was being said or what is being said, and so everybody else said they'll catch up later.
Cool, awesome. All right, so Alex, Chantel, you got anything you guys want to share? You guys gonna hang out, listen? Now you're like, oh, what's going on? No. All right, ready? So this is a picture that I took with my P900. Oh, wait a second, Karen. All right, so Carrie says, what are your thoughts on calcifying on the pineal gland? Well, that is a fantastic question because our pineal gland was calcified for a reason. Now, what transpired is the reason why our pineal gland got calcified was because we were at a very high level of understanding, a very high consciousness, and we had to be taken down from the golden age all the way down through the density of consciousness into the iron age. So we had to forget who we are. How this is accomplished is by calcifying the pineal gland. It's like basically putting over a film over our eyes so we can't see, right? It's like glaucoma on our third eye. So we can't see into the higher realms. We lose that connection into the higher realms. And that's done by design because once that happens, we can start to forget who we are. And when we forget who we are, guess what? We're able to have this amazing experience where we are completely separated from the Creator, completely separated from everybody. We think we're in our own little world. And yet, we have no idea where we are. How awesome is that? And you are the creator of reality, but you have forgotten who that is. So that was the reason why we have calcified the pineal gland. Now, how do we decalcify the pineal gland? The best way is through your thoughts. Now, you can take substance, chemicals, that's all just stuff. Your thoughts create reality. If you start to think about your pineal gland decalcifying, it will decalcify because your thoughts are that powerful. You don't need substances. You don't need things because those are external from you. You have all the power of the whole entire universe within you. So if you want to decalcify it, use that. Now we can use other things. We can use, say, if I drink water 50 times a day, it'll decalcify. But what's happening is my belief in me drinking the water makes that happen. So it's not the water, it's my belief in the water that makes it happen. If you look at the placebo effect works 60 to 70% of the times. And why does it do that? Because the power of belief is insane. It is so incredible. So if you want to decalcify your pineal gland, do a meditation every single day and visualize, right? Imagine. Imagination is our greatest tool because we're able to see things that aren't happening now. We're able to see the future and create that future. And what we're doing is we're seeing into the infinite, the possibility, and we're drawing that to us through the emotion. So if you want to decalcify it, take time every day and see it as being done. When you go to sleep at night, visualize it opening up. And what you're going to start seeing is you start feeling yourself lifting out of your bed when you're going to sleep, right? You ever had that feeling where you just fall asleep and you fall back in? Well, you'll be able to open up your third eye as you're going out, and you'll see the dream, and you're still laying in your bed before you even move. It's amazing. It really is amazing. So that's how I would suggest to decalcify the pineal gland. So let me close that guy there. So what I want to show you guys here is a picture that I took with my P900 camera. This thing is incredible. Let's get it up here. So now pop up. There we go. This, what do you think that is? That's a star. That is Sirius, the star Sirius. Now, we have long forgotten what this is. Our ancients were very familiar with what this was, but this is a vibrational vortex. You can see it spinning, right? You can see the rotational spin there, meaning showing it's a vortex, and you can see it blinking, which means you can measure the frequencies. So what we're looking at is a frequency vortex being projected here, right? So now when we look at our ancient cultures, right? Let's get back to that right there. Where are you at? Here's what we're looking at. The Egyptians built the pyramids, the Great Pyramids, in the direct locations, as above, so below, in correlation with all specs perfectly aligned to the Orion belt. And Orion's belt points directly at Sirius. What they were doing was they were taking the energy from the stars and they were bringing it in to these chambers, and they were extracting that vibrational frequency and creating giant resonating machines. So guess what these temples are made out of? Silicon. Silicon is what we're using today to power up our computers, the silicon chip, the whole memory. These devices were storing massive amount of energy and memory. How cool is that? So when you look at Sirius, when next time you look at it, it's like, oh, that's just a star in the sky. No, it's not just a star in the sky. There is so much more than just this thing in the sky, right? So what I have here is you have, am I popping the wrong way here? You have Mars to the left, and then I have Venus popping up here behind the tree. So you can see these vibrational frequencies that are happening here, right? So in week 1, we talked about cymatics, right? Cymatics is a frequency that you put on a plate, and underneath is a speaker. And the higher the frequency, the more complex the shape or the design becomes. Think about that. The higher the frequency, the more complex it becomes. So when you look at this one on the right here, right, you see these like little amoebas like running around, moving around, right? These stars are the speakers of our reality. They are projecting sound and light, vibrational frequency into our realm. And when you look at a constellation is a symphony of specific sounds that imprint on our chakra systems. And it's so cool that when you look at the ages, how we change as the precession of the equinox moves, right? What's the precession of the equinox? It's the stars above us, and how they're moving. These guys are changing in vibrational frequency, and they're changing the collective experience. So this is how we know that we are now in the ascension process. This is how we know that we're moving into the age of Aquarius. The age of Aquarius is a vibrational frequency. It's not just a name, it's a vibrational frequency. And you can see the complexity. The vibrational frequency of the stars is going to get higher and higher and higher. Therefore, who's ever in this reality is going to raise up, raise up, raise up, because you have no choice. There's no choices in the ascension process. It's happening to all of us. We're all ascending. But do you want to be awake in it? That's the question. Do you want to be awake? And if you want to be awake, start watching your thoughts, start watching your words, and start talking about yourself in the greatest light. Because you are the one that's going to change it. If you want something in your life, give thanks for being there. Give thanks. Make that emotion come up inside of you. Make that emotion attached to a thought. Grab it from the infinite and make it your reality. That's how we do this. We don't have to work 1,000 hours a week to get what we want. What we want is right inside of us, and we're always running from that. These stars are energy vortex machines, and the energy is here now. It's been here since 2012. If we start understanding how to tap into that, it's going to be lights out for the old paradigm. This is a whole new way of looking at our reality, completely different from what we have been taught over the last, 7,000, 8,000 years. And that's because we have been descending. We have been forgetting. This is why we don't know anything about Atlantis, right? Atlantis sunk with the Great Flood. And the reason why it sunk with the Great Flood was because we had to wipe out the memory of the past so that we can descend down. But now we're starting to wake up. We're going to start waking up to the technology that Atlantis had and far more. And that technology is not external from us. It is us. So that's all I have tonight. If anybody has any questions they want to pop on, please do. If not, we shall be back here in 2 weeks. We're doing this every other week. If you have not signed up for the Soul's Dream, it is 100% free, and it is packed with esoteric knowledge that you cannot find anywhere else. And if you do find it somewhere else, please share it with me, because I am always searching for more knowledge. So, thesoulsdream.com, check it out, hop on, and that'll be it. So, we have any questions in Restream there, Jamie? What about you, Alex? Chantel, you have any questions? You guys are cool cat and collector. Wow, what's that? No? Good? Awesome. All right, guys. Thank you all so much for joining in. It's been very fun. I'll see you in 2 weeks. And if you haven't signed up yet to the Soul's Dream, I don't know what you're waiting for, because this is free. It's not costing you anything. Nothing's being sold there. 100% free information that can absolutely change your life. All the best. Thank you very much.